Hi my dog lovers, hi, this is Dr. Dobias. Today I have a video for you that talks about GreenMin, our all-natural mineral and amino acid supplement. We've recorded it just an hour ago and I just wanted to say hello and share it with you. And yeah, my assistant Anna made me cry, but I decided to leave it in because I talk about Sky and why he's on the picture, and then I talk about many different things that you may want to know about mineral supplementation, nutrition, and why it is so important for keeping your dog healthy and happy for many years to come. I hope you will enjoy this video, and if you have any questions, you can always email us at peterdobias.com. Thank you so much.
Hey, Peter.
Hey, hi Anna, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I am good. I'm really looking forward to tell people about GreenMin because it's one of my favorite products and also one of the most eye-opening products in my veterinary career. Seeing so many testimonials and reviews and feedback saying how much difference it makes in dogs' lives and also some people's lives, because we have people taking it too. I take it. It is really good. It feels really lovely to see that we could make such a difference with the product that is simple but powerful.
Well, I'm pretty excited to talk about GreenMin too. I wanted to know, is it the first product that you made?
GreenMin is actually not the first product I made. It is the second product. The first product was skin spray, a healing solution. And then I came up with GreenMin. One raw pet food manufacturer in Vancouver approached me wanting to get an alternative for calcium support and calcium supplement. She didn't want to put bone meal in the food because bone meal comes from all sorts of different places around the world and there's toxicity and it's also cooked and it's not bioavailable. And I said, okay, I have a few ideas and I would like to work on it. And then we put together a few different formulas and we tested on people. We test all products on people first. That's our hallmark of our company. We test on people to make sure that it's safe for animals. And one of them really stood out. And obviously I started taking it in my family, and then we gave it to our dogs. We had a few at that time. And they did extremely well. Suddenly I saw that the coat is shinier, the skin is better, digestion was better. And that's how it all started. When we started giving GreenMin to my patients in my clinic, it was like, half of the health problems kind of disappeared. Another quarter just kind of disappeared after some time because it was much deeper and more serious. I realized that one of the biggest problems in medicine is that the body doesn't have the building blocks that it needs to be healthy and well. Because we cannot make minerals. Our dogs cannot make minerals. There are the building blocks for every single part of our body, the elements that are needed for health, and at the same time we cannot make them. So it was a real aha moment to see what happens when we provide these deficient minerals. And another aha moment was when we tested what happens with toxins, and seeing that toxins actually reduce in our body when we provide the good minerals. So there was a whole kind of chain reaction of learning to understand how minerals work. And even though I went through vet school and I went through 20 years of practice, 20 years plus at that point, nobody really taught us that we should be really looking at minerals and the building blocks. It kind of makes sense because nobody expects to build a bike or a car without the parts, right? And we somehow expect our bodies to function without the parts.
So my next question is, who's GreenMin good for? Who can take GreenMin? Can cats take GreenMin?
The first answer was like everything that is alive, because I kind of put it even on my orchids and plants. Sometimes I try it in the garden to see what happens, and it does well. But when it comes to animals, GreenMin can be given to cats, but it is not labeled for that. So it's an extra label use. If people want to try it, we have not seen any problems. I would say be a little more careful about cats that have some urinary tract issues and crystals and are on kibble, because then the imbalances can happen. In contrary to the popular belief, I actually have seen crystals in dogs and cats disappearing after giving this rich mineral support. And I think the reason why that happens is that the body suddenly starts functioning better. And the metabolic imbalances that lead to crystals actually disappear. I always like analogies. Imagine a plane with 300 seats. It's a wide body plane. Half of the seats are empty. Our body is a plane. And then if some of the seats are empty, the toxic minerals can settle on the cell receptors in the seats. But if the minerals are fully supplemented and supplied, the seats are full, there's no one else getting on that flight. And so what I'm seeing is that when we provide the good minerals, they not only fill in the seats, but they also push out the bad passengers. If someone is drunk on a flight, they get taken off and a good passenger gets on. That's the same thing with toxins and good minerals. We provide the good passengers to make sure that the bad passengers, the unruly passengers, cannot get on.
So the next thing I was wondering about is whether or not GreenMin can be given to pregnant or lactating mothers as well as puppies. How early can GreenMin be given to puppies?
It's a really good question. GreenMin can be given to any age group of dogs. Nutrients in nature are not any different for puppies or adult dogs or seniors. It's an invention of pet food companies that we have all these different formulas for different life stages. They didn't want us to think that we can just give food, and people just kind of are used to that idea. But show me one single mammal in nature that would eat different food for the youth and then the adults and then the seniors, with the exception of milk. But past weaning, they all eat the same food. So the answer is GreenMin is good for all stages of dogs, the same way as zinc or selenium or calcium is the same in a young body or old body. There may be some slight adjustments in some diseases, and we usually make recommendations if dogs have a certain condition that needs an increase usually of minerals. In some very few situations that would be an increase, but I would say that generally GreenMin is good for all life stages of animals.
Can you tell me a little bit about what is in GreenMin?
The ingredients in GreenMin are complete food. They're both plant-based. One of them is Alga calcarea, and it's a certified organic algae that is mineral rich. And the story of Alga calcarea is really cool because it's an algae that is abundant in South America and Brazil. And farmers originally were using it to feed farm animals. When they started doing that, they saw the same changes that we see with GreenMin in dogs and humans. And the animals were healthy and they had shiny coat and they lived longer and were stronger. After that, after this was discovered, Alga calcarea was used for treatment of osteoporosis in humans, and it was also shown to be effective. The plant is kind of smart in a way because it prevented itself from floating around in the water by collecting minerals and creating these big heavy roots that actually anchor the plant at the bottom of the ocean. That's how it became really mineral rich. And the Alga calcarea ingredient that we use is actually the root portion of the plant. The other ingredient in GreenMin is spirulina. It is known to be one of the most complete foods in nature. NASA actually proved spirulina to be complete food for astronauts. So they take astronauts up in the space and they pack little spirulina packets for them. And we definitely have seen the synergy of those two ingredients. Spirulina is rich in amino acids and protein and chlorophyll, and it has an amazing ability to cleanse the body as well. And Alga calcarea is mineral rich. So when I put together GreenMin, we combine ingredients that really make a superpower. Like it's just like, it's a supercharge. When I take GreenMin in the morning, it's much better than taking coffee. I don't drink coffee very often, maybe once a month or two. I've seen too many coffee addicts, but I know that people love coffee, right? If you take GreenMin instead of coffee, you will feel the difference. You will supercharge your body.
Are there any side effects to taking GreenMin?
Side effects, There are no side effects, but when you have a body that has been dormant or deficient and sick and toxic, sometimes you can have some cleansing reactions like loose stool or a little bit of loss of appetite for a day or two, but usually that doesn't happen. It's like when you're cleaning a house. If it's really, really messy, you may need to kind of take a little breath and then start cleaning, and then it'll settle down, it'll feel really good. And that's what we are seeing with GreenMin, that the animals that are really toxic and really unwell, they may have a little bit of loose stool. In that case, I usually recommend reducing the dose to 1/2 or 1/4 and gradually increase the doses. But it should not be a big problem, and most animals do really well.
How does GreenMin benefit the body?
This question is difficult for me to answer because it's like asking, how does water benefit to the body? And you'll say, well, it maintains the heart health and the skin health and the digestive health and vision and all that stuff. So it's like that. Minerals are obviously, we know that functions of minerals are different in the body, but and the amino acids as well, not just minerals. They are essential. They cannot be made by the body. So pretty much every body function depends on good supplementation of essential minerals and essential amino acids. So how does GreenMin benefit? It basically supports everything that goes on in the body. There's 37 trillion chemical reactions happening in the body every second. Now imagine if 37 trillion of anything is happening in your house, it'd be gone, right? And the body functions and the body is well and composed in most situations. It's a miracle. I never stop being absolutely awed over how nature governs everything with ease, how everything happens without really major intervention. And the only problem in nutrition or health, it seems like, is us, because we have disturbed the nutritional cycles and food cycles. Nutrients don't get returned back to where they came from. They're transported hundreds and thousands of miles around the world. And we have more and more depleted soils. And as a result, we have depleted food and depleted bodies. I've had many people coming to me and saying, well, if I give the right food, if I give the right vegetables and meat and bones, it should be all fine and my dog will not need anything. And I thought that too, until I started using hair tests, which is a very accurate method for analyzing content of minerals and heavy metals in the body, and discovered that pretty much every single animal that I tested was deficient and toxic. I also was able to measure what happens after the minerals are supplemented. So if anyone questions whether minerals are needed or whether their dog needs it or if they need it, they can just do a simple hair key test. It's hairkeytest.com, and you can just download a form and cut a little bit of your dog's hair and send it out to the lab, and it's a very accurate method. The test doesn't cost more than $100 and something, it's $110. Sometimes we have it on sale for less than that. There is one part of mineral supplementation that people often don't think about, and that is maintaining good hydration. Supplementing minerals doesn't necessarily mean only providing building blocks for the body, but it also means that the body is capable of maintaining good hydration and keeping enough water in. And that actually leads to youthful life and healthy life and longer life. So this is better than any, gimmick or face cream or plastic surgery. You just basically supplement minerals and maintain hydration, and that's how the body remains healthy.
I've heard that blue-green algae can be dangerous. Is GreenMin tested for radioactive materials or toxins?
What people worry when it comes to blue-green algae is actually the wild form of blue-green algae that can blossom or bloom in the summer and create toxicity. We grow spirulina in a very well-controlled environment, and it's tested several times before it's shipped. And we have all the lab reports, so if there ever are any problems, we would know before it's used in the product. And I am a perfectionist. When we make a product, we take sometimes years to source the right ingredients. I always want people to feel that when they take our product, that they are really getting the best, because our dogs are everything. We love them so much, and I want them to get the very best.
I guess Greenman is the lucky winner about having Sky's photo on the label. Was it hard to decide, or did you know that Sky was going to be on the product label all along?
How could it be hard to decide whether you put your dog on a label? Like since then, we've had so many people asking us whether their dog could be on the label, and obviously there's a limited number of products, so we decided not to offend anyone and just kind of use photos that we've taken or we got from other photographers. But when it comes to Sky, first, I love the picture that is on the label. Our dogs, they don't live long enough, no matter how long they live. And Sky had a healthy and long life, but at the same time, it wasn't enough. It never will be enough. So I decided I'm gonna make it in such a way that I'll look at my dog every single day by using the product, and that he will never die in a way. And you can see that I'm actually having a hard time to keep it together here, but I'm human, and I miss him very much. But yeah, he's on the label, and I'm so happy that he is, because every time I take Greenman, I look at him, right? So it's really beautiful. You made me cry, Anna.